So you're trying to figure out what exactly a licensed Floyd Rose really is. Who makes them, why they come stock on certain guitars. And now most of the research you've done probably told you that they are a load of crap. While that might be true, that's not the entire picture. In this video, I'm going to lay out all the facts and what you need to know about the licensed Floyd Rose. And stick around to the end of the video for a quick promotional giveaway from this channel. This is the axe, let's go. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new, my name's Nick. I'm a guitarist here on YouTube. And before we start, if you like the content, subscribe below to help me out. I really appreciate it. Anyways, licensed Floyd Rose products. What are they? Are they good? Are they actually made by Floyd Rose? Let's start from the beginning. After all, I sometimes talk about history on this channel. The maker of the Floyd Rose was Floyd D. Rose, and he was a guitarist in the 1970s. He was really into bands like Deep Purple, Jimi Hendrix, those bands that would use a lot of tremolo in their playing. And so Rose was getting frustrated by his guitar going out of tune because at the time there weren't any double locking trem systems. So at a small jewelry shop that Rose worked at, he fabricated the small parts that would become the locking trem system which we know today. He put his first trem on a Fender Stratocaster, but then down the line in 1979 would eventually get a deal with Kramer to install his Floyd Rose trems on their guitars. The system would become super popular, kicked off by Eddie Van Halen, and then became the standard for almost every 80s guitarist after that. Now let's just talk about a few of the trem systems that Floyd Rose actually makes. There's the original series. This is the classic German-made series that's made with hardened steel and of top quality. There's a couple trims that fall under this, the original, the 84, but just know these have the stamp made in Germany on the back. And that's because Floyd Rose has a German company that actually makes the original line. It's probably a company you may have heard of, which is SCHALLER. So now there's also a Floyd Rose 1000 series that's made in Korea. Now these trims are cast and assembled outside of Germany, but claim to use the same hardened steel base plate saddles and other components of the original Floyd Rose. Now there's lots of contention out there. A lot of people say they're not as good because they're made in Korea. Also that the knife edges wear away very quickly. But from what we really know, it's really a Floyd Rose that's been contracted to be assembled outside of the country of Germany. And then we have the Floyd Rose Special series. Now this is a trim that Floyd Rose makes to kind of address the plethora of licensed Floyd Roses that are out there. We can safely say that the Special is probably the lowest quality of all the trims that Floyd Rose actually makes. This series is made in Korea, but it's made with zinc alloy, not the hardened steel. These are usually found as OEM and on budget guitars, usually under 500 or in that range. Okay, now we got the actual Floyd Rose stuff out of the way. Now let's talk about these licensed products. So just because the trim actually says Floyd Rose on it doesn't mean it's actually made by Floyd Rose. Dozens of manufacturers have taken Floyd Rose patents and then constructed and fabricated their own versions of a Floyd Rose trim. So companies like Jackson, Gotoh, even SCHALLER have licenses to use the patents of the actual original Floyd Rose system. Now, what does this actually mean? It means a few things. So for one, some of these companies can use cheaper materials to make their actual Floyd Rose trims, which means lesser cost to you at the cash register. But sometimes these cheaper materials can be softer metals and make the trims not last as long. Now, these licensed products carry a stamp on them that says licensed under Floyd Rose patents. It's usually found right below the tuning pegs, and this stamp has kind of signified over time a low quality made product. Yeah, Nick, I know. That's why all licensed Floyd Roses suck. Now hold on a minute. That's not exactly true. While a lot of the licensed Floyd Roses are indeed crap, take for instance this Jackson Floyd Rose that was on a Randy Rhoads guitar that cost me about 700 bucks. This is a licensed Floyd Rose that uses zinc and has a coating on it that is of bad quality. I don't know if you can see it, but the knife edges on this thing are worn, which is not cool. And then there's a lot of companies that do unfortunately make these licensed Floyd Rose, throw them on some of their stock guitars, and they are crap. But just because Floyd Rose lets companies use their patents to make their own trims doesn't necessarily mean that those products are complete crap. Take for instance SCHALLER. Remember talking about SCHALLER? SCHALLER is a German company that actually makes the original Floyd Rose trims, but they too have a license to use the Floyd Rose patent to make their own trims. The SCHALLER brand trims are still made of hardened steel with great quality products, and they tend to be about $75 to $100 cheaper. There's a few subtle differences between the SCHALLER trims and the original Floyd Rose, such as shorter bolts and a different look to it. So what this comes down to is, are licensed Floyd Rose bad? Majority, yes. But some, like SCHALLER or even Gotoh made in Japan, make good licensed products. Find out who's making that licensed trim, find what materials they use for it, stay away from zinc, and shop around for the best trim for you. Alright guys, that does it for this video. I hope it helped you. I remember when I was first learning about trims, this whole license thing threw me off. But with that being said, I just wanted to let you guys know we have stickers. These guys right here. If you'd like one of these, just go to my Instagram below, DM me directly and give me your address and I'll send one out. Other than that, have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Subscribe if you like the content and I will see you later.